Welcome to your online source for calculator tutorials. In this tutorial, we will learn how to use the NormalCDF command to compute the probability of some random variable lying between a designated lower and upper bound of a normal distribution. Alright, to access the NormalCDF command within our calculator, you're going to want to find the distribution menu. The way to do that is to locate the vars button, and it is the second function of the vars button. So hit second vars. This will take us into the distributions menu. Remember, we're looking for the NormalCDF, which is option number 2, not the NormalPDF. We're never going to use option number 1 in this class, so select 2 for the NormalCDF. Alright, for the particular calculation that we're going to look at here, we want to be looking at a normal distribution which has a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 5. So all the problems that we're going to be looking at coming up all have means 100 and standard deviations 5. The NormalCDF command generally uses 4 arguments. It uses a lower bound, an upper bound, and then you'll enter the mean and the standard deviation like I said. Let's try a first calculation here. And for this first calculation, I want us to find the percentage of data that lies between 95 and 105. Alright, here's how you would do this. This is the simplest of the 3 calculations we'll look at. You simply want to enter 95, comma 105. And then I said before, we're going to do all these problems having mean 100 and standard deviation 5. And then don't forget to close the parentheses. So let me just make sure that we understand what we're calculating here. The NormalCDF will calculate the percentage or the probability that a randomly selected member from this population or this distribution or whatever it is we're looking at will fall between 95 and 105. Now that's assuming that the distribution we're looking at has a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 5. Alright, when you've entered those values, go ahead and hit enter. And this will give us a 68% probability, which by the way, you should have already known. If you refer back to the 68, 95, 99.7 rule, it says between plus or minus 1 standard deviations of the mean, approximately 68% of the data occurs. And 95 and 105 are 1 below and 1 above respectively, because the deviation's 5. Alright, for our second calculation, I want us to find the percentage of data that lies below 88. So all I'm going to do here is go back into the distribution menu. So second vars, number 2 is the NormalCDF. And I'm wanting to calculate the percentage of data below 88. But in order to do this, I have to pick a point far enough below 88 that it is several standard deviations below the mean. Now, most of the data, 99.7% of the data, is in between plus or minus 3. You go out to 4 standard deviations in each direction, you get 99.97. You go out to 5, and it's virtually all the data. As a general rule of thumb, if you can go 20 deviations below and 20 deviations above, you're basically not going to change the decimal values in terms of your result, except out to, you know, several decimal places later. So I think that's what we'll do here. In terms of below the, in terms of 20 standard deviations below 100, because the standard deviation is 5, 20 standard deviations below 100 would be a 0. So I'm going to look at the data from 0 all the way up to 88. Because for this problem, from this point of view, the range from 0 to 88 is basically everything below 88. Alright, and then go ahead and finish it out by entering the mean and the standard deviation. Close parentheses and hit enter. This says that approximately 0.8% of the data is located below 88. And that's because 88 itself is more than 2 standard deviations below the mean. All right, let's do one last calculation. For this last calculation, I want us to find the percentage of data that lies above 108. All right, I will quickly enter the command to do this, and then we'll discuss, a little bit about why it is I entered what I did. So we're looking for the percentage. I accidentally hit enter. If you get this syntax error like I did here, just hit go to, and it'll bring you back to what you were doing. So I want to calculate the percentage of data above 108. So I'm going to start with 108, and I'm going to go all the way up to 200. Why 200, you ask? Well, because 200 is 20 standard deviations above the mean. I've gone plenty far out at that point to ensure myself I'm not going to lose any accuracy in my answer. Finish it out with the mean and the standard deviation. And you get a result of 0.0547, which is approximately 5.5%. So around 5.5% of the data lies above 108. This concludes the using the normal CDF command tutorial. Feel free to replay this tutorial or browse any of the other available topics on the course webpage.